Staying with us, it's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Nation newspaper. The major story here: CDS raises joint security force in renewed anti-oil theft battle. The riders there, military chiefs, NNPCL perfect strategy. Target is to meet oil production quota. Another story here: Rivers lawmakers' crisis rages on over state fund. And another story, quickly, before we move, is Adeleke's phone line hacked. 103 die in 3,623 cholera cases, says NCDC. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Now to the Daily News Hub. Loss of revenue. Tinubu gives security forces marching others to swoop on oil thieves. Rises there: oil theft, serious threat, Nigeria's survival at stake. NNPCL GMD is saying this. Another rider will clear South of vandalism, criminality within 3 months, CDS vows, as the Inspector General of Police seeks cooperation of security agencies, all Nigerians, to win battle. And another story: President's criticism, Ndume in trouble as pro-Tinubu senators plot his suspension. Northern stakeholders kick. Edo Guba smear campaigns against Ugodalo will end in vanity, PDP assures. Another downstrip: 14 passengers die in head-on collision in Jigawa. A sad one there, and may their souls rest in peace. We'll move to the blueprint now. For maximum output, Tinubu orders CDS to end all theft, criminality in Niger Delta. We are set to carry out President's directive. That's what Musa is saying. Kano crisis. Yusuf creates 3 second-class emirates to appoint new emirs. Government files fresh charges against Ganduje. And the downstrip for the federal allocation there: federal government, states, local government share 1.354 trillion naira in June. Another story here: federal government has no plan to sell varsities to private investors. That's what the minister is saying. We are reassuring them, Nigerians rather. Kagame coasts to 4th term victory as Rwanda president. Interesting development coming out of that country. We'll move now to the Nigeria News Direct. Economic hardship. Tinubu loves Nigerians. Will do well for country. That's what the wife of the president, Remi Tinubu, is quoted as saying. Be patient with current administration. Lagos Oba urges Nigerians. And another story, VAT, that's the value-added tax revenue, increased by 65 billion naira in June. Cholera outbreak: Nigeria records 103 deaths, 3,623 cases. Sanwo-Olu gives over 425 million naira to core members, pledges 5 billion naira for permanent site. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. To the Leadership newspaper now. Emirate crisis. Kano government cripples Bayero. Creates 2 second-class emirates. Rano Gaya considered. Bichi loses out. Sanusi appointed traditional council chairman. All right, another story quickly. UAE visa application fees for Nigerians now 688,000 naira. Nigerians have been reacting to that. PDP governors meet on party congresses at Edo Ondo polls. Some stories on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. To the Punch newspaper now. Local government autonomy. 13 states rush to hold council polls. Bauchi fixes local government poll for August 19th. Kogi election holds October the 19th. Jigawa, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Katsina, Kebbi, Benue set for exercise. And the picture story there is that coming out of Kenya. Where one killed, journalist shot in Kenya fresh protests. There are calls for the president to step down. The court declines Emefiele's request for foreign medical trip. U.S. promises timely delivery of attack helicopters to Nigeria. At the top corner there, minimum wage labor threatens 30-day strike, alleges plan to decentralize talks. Some stories you find on the front page of the Punch newspaper. To the Voice of Liberty now, new minimum wage, NLC threatens 1 month nationwide shutdown. And another story here, insecurity, 148 Niger farmers still in captivity over 53 days after abduction. And another story here, misappropriation, Kano government files fresh criminal charges against Ganduje. Some stories on the front page of the Voice of Liberty. Ibrahim.
Right, the first one with me here is the first news. Millions at risk. NLC vows 1 month shutdown should NASS deregulate minimum wage. Kano shakes up power structure with new second-class emirate. Oba of Lagos calls for patience, prayer for Tinubu's government. IMF downgrades Nigeria's 2024 economic growth forecast to 3.1%. Lawyer sounds the alarm. Nnamdi Kanu sick, denied medical attention. Rivers Assembly crisis. Pro-Fubara lawmakers defy Ameule. Green light. Government funds spending. Court denies Emefiele's travel request for medical treatment abroad. Elon Musk pledges $45 million a month to electing Donald Trump. Next is Platform Times. How I escaped assassination attempt as PDP National Chairman Audu Ogbe. Electoral reforms needed to end governor's control of local government chairman. That's according to APC. Trust deficit hindering Nigeria's national development. Ambassador Ishola. Court dismisses suit challenging Arabic inscription on Naira notes. Above the nameplate, Nolge hits Fayoshe over comment on local government autonomy. Demands retraction. Apology. Snapchat lover defrauded Lagos traditional ruler in multi-million Naira scam. Quite laughable. Above the nameplate, we have cholera kills 103 in 34 states, says NCDC. Nature News, environmental sanitation. Lagos government, EXCO members embark on street cleaning. Delta community accuses Okomu, palm oil company, of land grabbing. And then Nigeria earns 3% royalty, loses $9 billion annually to illegal mining. Kamik wants household to use sorted plastic bins for waste management. Nigerians want federal government to reintroduce monthly environmental sanitation. Next is Daily Independence. Airfares fly sky high amid high operational costs, charges. Sector woes reduce indigenous airlines aircraft fleet to 45 from 100. Fears of many carriers shutting down operations soon heightens. Food insecurity. Tinubu asks military to turn vast fallow lands to agric hubs. Tinubu asks heads of security forces to crack down on oil thieves. And then above the nameplate, we have government spending. Rivers Assembly dismisses Amaule. Others resolution. Federal government denies planning to sell off universities to private investors. Next is Business Times. IMF downgrades Nigeria's growth forecast to 3.1%. Revises forecast for sub-Saharan economic growth in 2024 to 3.7% and from 3.8%. Energy transition plan will lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, Environment Minister assures. Aviation stakeholders hope for profitable relations as UAE lifts visa ban. Land grabbing allegation, federal government investigates Ajib Shell in Bielsa. Federal government states, local governments share 1.35 trillion naira allocation for June. Next is Salient Times. IMF downgrades Nigeria's economic growth forecast for 2024 to 3.1%. Strike looms as Ogun labor unions write Governor Abiodun over unpaid 40 billion naira contributory pensions. How I escaped from hangman news. Ex-police officer narrates his 10-year experience at correctional facility. Binance executive appears in court on wheelchair for money laundering trial. Ogun Assembly condemns harassment of residents by police from Lagos. The Guardian newspaper is next. New electricity tariff. Blackout looms as 11 universities struggle with 2.92 billion naira bill monthly. NCDC warns of rising yellow fever cases as cholera deaths hit 103. Health insurance mandatory for residents as Sanwo-Olu earmarks 5 billion naira to complete NYC camp. Kano presses fresh charges against Ganduje as House Okay's second-class MS. Next is the Nation Sport Live. Galatasaray, Fulham, keen on this is quite tongue-twisting. Aston Villa to sign Iheanacho, and then PSG to offer players 100 million euros for Osimhen. Liverpool join Simakan race. Greenwood agreed to join Marseille. And then Sancho set for fresh start at Man United. 100 million naira prize money for MPFL champions. And Vinicius Jr., Rodri, Bellingham are top contenders, talking about 2024 Ballon d'Or. Man City reject Al Nassr's £25 million bid for Edison. Is Galatasaray, Fulham keen on McTominay? Quite interesting names there.
Tongue twisting.
If you're not careful, you go to Germany, you go to Spanish, you can trip off just by calling their names.
Anyway, interesting. I believe that our viewers have been updated.
That's right.
One story that caught my attention is federal government warns 22 states of 5-day massive flooding. So I believe that the state governments are putting measures in place to ensure that we do not have as much casualties with regards to this massive flooding that we have witnessed over time up until now. Well, that is what we'll have to...
Oh, this didn't catch your attention. Snapchat lover defrauded Lagos traditional ruler in multi-million naira scam.
You laughed or you chuckled at that point.
Well, it's the right of the traditional ruler to have more wives, not necessarily...
How are you sure that that was what was going on? You see, assumption. Except you have details of that story, that was what was going on, because you and I don't know.
They say Snapchat lover. What else?
Do you know details?
Let's leave it here.
Let's leave it here.